Dearest gentle reader, we have been apart for far too long.
How are you?
Great backdrop. I've never been a backdrop before.
You haven't? There is
Not
a
yet.
first time for everything. But speaking of which, Prudence and the Featheringtons really went through it last season with the jack of it all. But I feel like Prudence is thriving now. How would you say that engagement and its subsequent blow up has affected her outlook this season?
Well, I'm calling this season Prudank season because of the Dankworth that's entered our lives. And I think Prudence was pretty heartbroken at the end of series 2. She was really upset that the future that she thought was going to happen isn't going to happen. So I think it's really satisfying that we start off series 3 with her arm in arm with a husband, which her mother had secured for her. And it's a really exciting time for Prudence. It's a little bit unnerving. I think it's very new to her. She's watched her sister being married and they're very, fond of each other and they're very touchy-feely. And I think right at the beginning, yes, it's a little bit confusing and a bit, oh, don't touch me and don't mess up my hair, don't mess up, she's been living her single life, ladies, for quite a while, and I think this is a bit of an adjustment, but I think that provides hopefully some of the comedy and also some of the new sides to Prudence that we see this series, a bit more of her vulnerability, a bit more of her naivety, and that's a journey that the audience hopefully comes along with her on.
Yeah, absolutely. The scenes with Dankworth are so much fun, especially when at first she's like, don't stand so close to me, actually. But what is that dynamic like for you and James on set? Because hopefully, you get along a little better than she does with her husband at the start.
Nice. He's so great. And I just did a play at the National and he came and saw the play and then he's doing a play at the National and I've got tickets to go and see him. So he was lovely. And I think it's, must be quite nerve-wracking coming into the third series of something. And he was just he's such a positive, lovely, it's actually quite like his character. He's quite upbeat and springy. And that was, again, quite a sort of Prudence and Philippa have built this very sort of eye-rolly relationship. And then for this kind of nice, positive person to come in, it genuinely was quite jarring. And that's where I actually got that inspiration. I was like, oh, this is such a different energy. And it was quite good to lean into how difficult that was for Prudence. And but we got along really well. He's such a nice addition to the cast. So I'm excited for him to meet him.
Oh, that's wonderful. Given that this is Penelope's season, it means that we also get to see more of Prudence and Penelope, Prudence and her family in this domestic circle. Can you talk about exploring that and what it's brought to light about Prudence for you?
Yeah, it's obviously just a really nice opportunity to sort of get to show different sides to her. And to realize that she's not just this sort of jaded, mean older sister. I think when you ask yourself why is someone the way they are, you tend to trace it back to childhood. And I think growing up in a loveless home with an pretty absent father, there's no real demonstration of a happy way to be in a marriage. So I think you sort of see Prudence trying to find her feet a little bit. She's now no longer the center of attention. Mum's eyes is slightly more on Penelope, as is the Tons. And I think she finds that very uncomfortable. And she's trying her best to win her mum's love and to win her mum's approval. And I think she's just really desperate to get that seal of approval. And that's sort of her prerogative throughout the series. And that's really fun because I get to just stretch my acting muscles a bit and show the audiences what I can do.
Absolutely. And speaking of, loveless home, because I think Portia doesn't show love the way one might expect, but she will go through hell and back for her daughters.
Yeah, really strong mom, yeah.
Yeah. What life lessons do you think Prudence has taken away from her mother? What are the ways in which she is most like her mother?
I think Prudence is actually very headstrong in many ways. She knows what she likes what she knows. But also she learns how to challenge that, which also she sees her mum soften, I think, and she sees her mum slowly starting to see that there's another way to be. And I think Prudence slowly softens and we just see her journey with her husband and where the journey they go on. She's trying again to just follow suit and learn from her mother, and I think that's a really beautiful thing to watch.
Definitely. Now, I know Bridgerton has seen a shift in showrunners this season from Chris to Jess, and I'm wondering, what do you think that has brought with it? What stands out to you most about Jess's approach? What can fans expect might be different?
Yeah, I mean, Jess has been part of the Shondaland family for a long time, so she speaks the language, and it was a very smooth sort of handover. I mean, it's just amazing to have a woman at the helm. You know, that was really cool. She was around on set all the time. She was around for phone calls. She would call us up before we got the scripts to talk about our arc and what the journey of the character is. So it felt personal. It felt considered, which was really nice. And she was always just available and friendly and really, transparent. And I think when you've got someone at the helm like that, it sets up for a pretty good ride. So yeah, it was nice and just amazing the more female showrunners we can get in this still very male-orientated industry, the better. So I'm championing Grace, I forgot her name, Jess.
Jess with Grace. You're championing her with Grace.
Good save.
Is there any character in the Bridgerton verse that you would like to see Prudence interact with more? Or is there someone this season that you're very excited to have more interactions with?
I'm always really intrigued by the Mondriches, but I think that's also just because I'm really good mates with them. So we're just like, I want scenes with Martins and Emma. Emma actually and I went to the same drama school. She was 1 year above me. Anyway, so we were mates before. But Prudence, it's quite funny because when I'm on set and we're doing like a big ball scene or, a scene with all of the ton, it is very strange when then suddenly, because for 3 seasons or 2 seasons, we'd sort of established the Featheringtons are in their corner, trying their best not to make a fool of themselves. And actually in this series, when you've got the whole Polin love story coming together, there's obviously a bringing together of the families. So there are a few moments in this series, which I won't say, but where we are with some Bridgertons and it's like, whoa. Whoa, and I'm like, how would I talk to you? Like, I've never spoken to Benedict in my life. But we sort of, me and Luke Thompson we're good mates, and so we sort of gravitated towards each other at like, there's a few scenes outside, and I remember being like, I'm just going to stand next to him and just wait until they tell me to move, and they didn't. And I was like, oh great, I'm going to stand next to you in this scene. So that's always fun.
So a secret friendship that we didn't know about has developed off screen. I love that. Yeah. I love that. There you go. Every Bridgerton has a favorite Featherington, probably. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would give Penelope and Colin this season as we move into the Polin year?
Be honest sooner. I mean, honestly, that's my motto for everything. I'm almost cripplingly honest. And so I would just always say how you feel and hope for the best. And so I think that's and I think we do see that happen, as slow sort of bravery grows between the two of them. And I think that's really exciting and cool to see.
That is awesome. I don't know if you've read the books, but do you have a Bridgerton sibling whose romance you're most excited to see in the future?
I have not read any of them. I read the first one when I was going up for it. I did the self-tape and I was like, I should probably read the book. And I read the first book. And then the script was so brilliantly kind of loyal, but then also they took really beautiful creative license. And I actually was like, it's not that useful for me to read the book. I'm just going to read the scripts. And that's the story I'm telling. It's not the book. So I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I quite like this one. I'm quite looking forward to seeing Luke. Like they've all got them coming. So I'm like, well, great. Eloise, I'm sure that'll be a cracker. I think they're all of the siblings are all so different that's what's exciting. I mean, I don't know if you've read the books, but I assume that they're all going to be very different stories. And I think that's what keeps the audience coming back is like, how are they going to do this one? So I don't have a preference.
That's wonderful. Then finally, are you making any preparations outside of Shondaland? Might we see you without a corset in the near future?
Yes, I've been doing lots of things we finished this last March, and I did a TV series that I can't say, which is coming out this year. And then I did a play at the National Theatre, which just finished. I start shooting a film in May and then another job at the end of the year. So lots of, and I'm creeping up the period drama. I did a 1950s, then 1930s, and now I'm in the 90s for something.
Oh, that's amazing. Almost in a day.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Converse, with a little Gen Z thing going on there. So yeah, I'm creeping away from the corsets, thank the Lord.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see the rest of season 3 and for everyone else to see all new Prudence.
Thanks very much. Nice to meet you.
Have a great day. You too.
Lord Featherington has so graciously allowed you to borrow this beautiful necklace for the occasion.
It is very heavy.
That means it's very valuable, remember that.